going to go with another documentary. I'm going to get into a real motherfucking thought that Brother Larry posted from a comment, I believe, and he said real talk about what's going on in Africa and how Africa is doing what they do over there and what's going on over there. And this video or this documentary is going to speak for itself, but it's damn sure reinforces what Brother Larry said about Africans and what's going on in Africa and about the criminals. And this documentary is titled Shoot to Kill. And you judge for yourself, really judge for yourself when you see this documentary. People, the citizens, and their neighborhood watch, and shit, ain't got shit on neighborhood watch over here. Well, in a sense, you might say it has if you consider the Zimmerman ideology, but it's backfired, and as well as the backfire that it's causing over there. I don't know if the right word is to say civil war over there, but the people are really trying to say it's enough. And it's targeted because the criminals over there and the drug dealers. And I mean, people, I pray and hope that you watch this documentary in its entirety. For those who haven't seen it, watch it in its entirety. For those, if you already see it, then teach about this and let people know the reality of what's going on in Africa. Because my opinion of view, when I saw it, I saw no difference. I saw no different than shit over here in America. Difference is that the bullets fly really, really hard over there every day. I guess we would say the money, or not money is a factor, but it is the rich and the poor over there. But the poor got a very mean streak, so to speak. I don't know the right word of doing their things. So I want to be careful on how I say the things because in a way there's no justifiable way for the innocent killing. There's no justifiable for I don't know what it is because let's say some of the stories and the testimonies of the people make you say, yeah, this is what you're going to have to do to protect yourself against the gangs and the drug dealers. But then, you got some of the people saying different things. So, like I say, y'all watch this just for yourself and please take this into account and watch this documentary in its entirety. Because it truly, in a sense, if you saw Brother Larry respond on his real motherfucking talk and putting shit straight, but it is definitely in a sense relates to what he has brought forward about the Africans fleeing over here, our people fleeing over here, the European mind and colonized mindset that's happening over there, the way they doing shit over there, instead of really, where I really want to go with that shit, pointing that shit on who this shit really started with, because again, they said, now you're going to hear testimony as well, that some of this shit didn't happen or begin to apartheid, and we know how long that's been, you see, decades ago, 2 to be exact, you know what I mean, since apartheid did its thing over there. So it starts with that shit, and then you're going to see again, Brother Larry also pointed out about the Christian thing. You're going to see a church, I'm telling you, again, people, I'm going to start the documentary, go into the documentary, and choose for yourself, and you'll see. He's not lying. You know what I mean? So, there you go with that.
Every day throughout the country, police officers confronting criminals must make split-second decisions about whether to use their firearms. A few months earlier, one such confrontation here in Pretoria hit the headlines. It involved a young captain responding to a business robbery.
He had his firearm in his hand, but when he saw the suspect, he warned the suspect 3 times. He said, drop your weapon, drop your weapon, drop your weapon. And then the suspect shot him. He was wounded, was treated on the scene, and he passed away about 4 hours later.
The slaying of Captain Charles Skeepers caused a national outrage, adding more fuel to the shoot-to-kill debate. Many politicians argued that this case, a brave policeman gunned down after giving a criminal 3 warnings, proved that Section 49 had to be beefed up. But in reality, for Charles Skeepers at least, it would have made no difference.
There should be no confusion in terms of the policy, irrespective of what politicians say. Section 49 of the Criminal Procedure Act has got nothing to do with that. You are entitled to defend your life and act in private defense, or the so-called self-defense. There's no legislation for that. We act in terms of the common law, and he has the right to defend himself in terms of the legislation and to kill that guy.
So if Captain Skeepers was legally within his rights to shoot back, why does the South African government want to change the law? I meet criminologist Professor Johan Berger.
When a police official arrives on the scene of a crime that already happened, the criminal or criminals may still be present. If those criminals, they may still be armed, but if they do not directly threaten those police officials, then the police official cannot use deadly force to apprehend those criminals. The new section is now saying that if you have reason to believe that those criminals have committed these crimes, you can use deadly force.
The proposed new policy means that the police will be able to use deadly force not only in self-defense, but also when apprehending a suspect. Constitutional law expert Pierre DeVos believes the changes could be a disaster.
You see, the law is very clear on the matter. Police officers, when their lives are threatened, that they do have a right to shoot and even to kill a suspect. But the statements made by the Minister, the Deputy Minister, the Police Commissioner, have confused the matter. And for an ordinary policeman who's maybe not versed in the law, the signal is said that you can actually now just start shooting anybody, regardless of whether your life is threatened, regardless of whether anybody in the society's life is threatened.
But shoot to kill isn't only a debate about the small print of new legislation. The phrase has spread through the national consciousness and become the emblem for a hardline, aggressive, zero-tolerance approach to policing. And in a country with a history of violence, it's no surprise to find that many even look back with nostalgia at the policing style of the apartheid regime.
What about the powers that the police have? Do you think that they should be given more power to stop people in the street?
In the old South Africa, the shoot-to-kill policy, well, not the shoot-to-kill policy, but if a policeman tried to catch someone and he's ran away, the policeman could have shot him. But in New South Africa, they can't. So the police, their powers are much less than in old South Africa. That's also one of the problems. Nobody's scared of the police anymore.
I mean, we grew up in a country where children could play to 3 o'clock to the whole night in the street. Nothing would have happened. It couldn't have happened. Now it's much worse. Now, that time there wasn't racism, and now there is a lot of racism. Really? Yeah.
Throughout my journey, I was stunned to hear several people, black and white, tell me that crime was not a problem during the apartheid era. However, almost as many said that the brutality of apartheid, at least in part, must explain today's extraordinary crime problem. This Afrikaner disagrees.
You don't steal because of apartheid. You steal because you're a thief. You murder because you're a murderer. The people in apartheid, the people I saw and everything, in apartheid they lived quite good. They had food to eat. They was happy. There was a lot of things wrong with it.
About crime. Before the fall of the regime in 1994, the police had free rein and crime was under control. Even people in the most unexpected quarters appeared to support this logic.
The president of the country has actually said in a statement that harked strangely back to apartheid and almost seemed nostalgic for the days of apartheid, said that policemen must be like military people, they must wear military boots, saying basically that the apartheid police was actually rather effective and we want to have that effectiveness back. And now the government is going back to the old military ranks and they want to remilitarize in a way the police force.
The apartheid police were notorious for its brutal repressive tactics and human rights abuses. It was a law unto itself. When the regime collapsed, the name was changed from police force to police service, and comprehensive reforms were introduced to end the culture of impunity. Today, many people believe the changes went too far, giving the criminals more rights than their victims. To get some more opinions, I head to Johannesburg, a city with a fearsome reputation for violent crime. Cynthia Mitterlany was walking down a street in a local town centre with her baby when a shootout between a gang of robbers and security guards started. Suddenly, she was caught in a hail of bullets. Cynthia touched her back and felt it damp. Her 1-year-old baby girl, who was wrapped to her body, had been shot in the head. To me, this tragic case reveals the desperate lawlessness that pervades South Africa, a country where stepping out into the street can sometimes be like entering a war zone. Cynthia's father, Wilson, tells me the problem is that the police are too lenient and weak.
Do you think that the police have a right to have more power to be able to shoot criminals dead on the streets?
Now, it's better, of course, that the criminal, if he was fighting, must kill him. Why did you? To come out, you do agree.
So you would rather that the police had the right to shoot these people on the street dead?
Yes, all right. It's all right if you find him, kill him off, or 100 one day, take him off.
Wilson doesn't believe this tragedy would have occurred during the apartheid era.
But how do you cope with something like this?
You don't see the pain in his eyes.
Many people feel the same way Wilson does. If criminals show no mercy, why should any be shown to them? Perhaps, as Wilson suggests, the apartheid regime did get one thing right. Perhaps shoot to kill is the answer. The question is, when both criminals... Every day, 10 people are murdered in the city's home province of Gauteng, an area the size of Wales. I'm here to look into the government's crackdown on crime, the new motto being, shoot to kill. So I head to a relatively affluent neighbourhood to see how crime affects middle-class, predominantly white people, and how they respond. it could be said that Henrik Sneeman has experienced more than her fair share of crime.
My house has been burgled on a number of occasions, and it just got progressively, worse, almost. I mean, on 2 or 3 occasions they came in while nobody was at home. Then they came in one morning when we were sleeping, but fortunately they didn't wake us up. And then one evening I was on my way out at about 9 o'clock, and I got into my garage, and there was a guy in my garage, and I got physically assaulted and just beaten up. And then about 6 months later they came in at 4:15 one morning while we were sleeping, and they shot my husband through both his legs, and I got blood marched through the house, and stuck me in the guest bedroom and told me that they were going to now burn me with an iron and kill my husband, and if I didn't tell them where more money was. And I just said, but I don't have any more money.
After 30 minutes, the men left, and Henrik was able to rush her husband to hospital for emergency surgery. He has since made a full recovery.
The men that did this to you, have they been caught?
Of course not.
Not been caught?
No, of course not. They just sent out somebody to come and do forensics, who actually then stole Charles's wallet. So, no, I'm not.
Henrik shows me all the security measures she has installed in her home in an ongoing battle to fight criminals. They include an electrified fence, motion-sensitive lights, light beams, burglar bars on all windows, a spiked fence backing the electrified fence, razor wire, an alarm system, a private security service, a guard dog of course, and security gates to her bedroom.
My word.
Yeah.
You are in prison now.
Yes, yeah.
Henrik told me that her experiences are far from exceptional. Most of her friends and acquaintances have also been victims of crime, and their houses, like hers, are fully fortified with state-of-the-art security. Patently, crime affects everyone.
Undoubtedly, all South Africans have a justified fear of crime. But affluent, mainly white South Africans, can defend themselves using expensive security measures. For poor, mainly black South Africans, they can't afford to do that. The only way that they can deal with crime is by confronting it head-on a daily basis.
To see how ordinary people cope with high levels of crime, I head to Cape Town, the southernmost city in Africa. One of the world's most beautiful places. Tourists flock here for its beaches, nightlife, and stunning views. But there's a darker side to this city. Its surrounding townships are rife with gangsterism, violence, and organised crime. This is South Africa's murder capital. But I'm here to meet a man with a plan to clean it up.
All of them. Yes, the culprits. They are the ones that is killing our children with the corruption by selling.
This is Michael Jacobs. He is the chairman of the Mitchell's Plain Community Police Forum, or CPF, an organisation made up of ordinary citizens who volunteer to fight crime. Michael is showing me all the businesses in the town centre where, he claims, drugs are traded.
Now you can see how they bring in a cell phone here to the exchange here. They bring in cell phones and all of that.
Michael has little qualms about personally identifying and confronting the drug dealers. In his view, drugs are at the root of the crime wave engulfing Mitchell's Plain, particularly a drug called tick or crystal meth. The number of users has skyrocketed in recent years.
They steal their mother's wedding ring, they steal the cell phones, they steal the iron, and every smaller crime they can get their hands on.
And all this stuff is traded here?
It's traded here, and it is then sold again.
Throughout the country, the Community Police Forum works together with law enforcement, and they've become a major weapon in the war against criminals. In Mitchell's Plain, Michael leads an army of 20,000 CPF members. To get a better idea of what they do, I joined them that night for the first of many patrols.
So that is some of the normal patrols that we have over the Mitchell's Plain.
Okay, and you would walk as you are now on the street like this?
Yes. As soon as they see a suspicious person, they will go to that person and ask that person
if the person got anything on him and all of that, then they will search the person. If they find any drugs on him or any dangerous weapon, they will call the police vehicle, and the police vehicle will then arrest the person and then take him down to the police station.
Mitchell's Plain is Cape Town's largest township, populated mainly by colours, people of mixed ethnicity who during apartheid were classed by law as a separate racial group. Today, some areas of Mitchell's Plain are relatively prosperous, but in others the unemployment rate is as high as 80%, and gangsterism, violence and drug abuse are rampant. Within minutes, we encounter a group of youths who allow themselves to be searched voluntarily. A CPF volunteer shows me their haul from the search, a sharp knitting needle.
You just found this?
Yeah.
What, on this guy? That was potentially quite a nasty weapon.
It doesn't take long to figure out the CPS MO. Criminals join gangs because there is strength in numbers. So the CPS adopts the same logic. When they go on patrol, they do so in groups of 10 or 20, and if they encounter trouble, they are well equipped to deal with it. We soon head to the location of an unlicensed bar, or shebeen. Shebeens are often centres of criminal activity, so Michael confronts the owner. I am surprised by Michael's belligerence. His approach is clearly one of zero tolerance. And I come to realise that in many ways he embodies South Africa's shoot-to-kill, hardline attitude towards criminals.
This is an illegal shebeen owner. This is where crime happens in our community.
Okay, you gotta touch it.
On another patrol, they carry out a series of raids on houses of known dealers.
This is where some of the gangsters of the crackers and now they all over there. So they were asking to open up.
They go in through the back. This is the drug den of a notorious gang. Joined by the police who have brought a search warrant, it's not long before they find 20 packets of tick hidden inside a slipper. There is something surreal about the CPS operations. Here they are, turning upside down the drug house of a notorious gang. And these are ordinary citizens, mothers and grandmothers, housewives and shopkeepers, pastry makers and teachers. While part of me finds it admirable, another part can't help wondering, should the cops be doing this dangerous work instead? Why are ordinary citizens risking their lives?
Are you worried about being targeted by these drugs?
I have no sleepless nights because, like I say, you only die once.
And they are killing our people all the time. If I was one of them, they would come and get me. I'm not.
The documentary series that redefines an unofficial tough on crime strategy is a good idea. I've spoken to the police, politicians, experts and victims of crime, but there's one group I have yet to encounter. Today I head deep into gangster territory to speak to criminals and see what they think about shoot to kill. Aziz, our security consultant, gives me a guided tour of all the nearby gangs and their respective turfs.
This is the battlefield. That gang is that's the back street.
That's the back street.
And this is the main.
It's the perfect place for gang warfare.
Yes, but the innocent is too.
Yeah, exactly.
Aziz negotiates our access into the territory of a gang called the Mongrels. I meet Kapaki, who tells me he's been a gangster for 35 years.
What sort of like criminal activity did you get up to?
Work.
Have you ever shot anyone?
Yeah.
Dead? Yeah. Have you ever been in shootouts with the police?
Yeah.
Why did you have shootouts with the police? The Americans and the police together? But that means that the
police are nothing more than gangsters themselves.
Listen, James was mafia, like, police were like mafia.
Kapoki proudly shows me the marks which brand the body of a true gang member. The tattoos of his gang, the mongrels, and the scars from gunshot wounds and stabbings. We soon attract the attention of another gang, the Gifted. They tell me they have buddied up with the mongrels in order to fight rival gang, the Americans.
How old are you? 21. How long have you been in the gang? Is that the age that most guys join a gang? And why do you have to join a gang? Would you like to get out of the gang? If he wants to leave the gang, so there's no way out.
Suddenly, our interview is interrupted by a commotion. But I'm told not to worry. Around here, this happens all the time. For these guys, I've just got one more question.
If the police decide the only way we can deal with these people is, you know, kind of tough line, we're going to go after these guys, how are you going to deal with that? Because
speaking to these gangsters is not what I expected. They are upfront and earnest about their criminal deeds and activities. The desperation is written on their faces. I wouldn't trust them as far as I could throw them.
That's it.
It's late into the evening and I'm back on patrol with Michael and the CPS. Throughout South Africa, CPS patrol at night and stop and search suspected criminals and drug addicts. But there's one innovation which is exclusive to Mitchell's claim. Wearing a bulletproof vest as an added precaution, Michael shows me how his community has decided to fight fire with fire.
So the bonfire is always put outside of a suspected
Bonfires are placed in strategic positions outside drug dealing operations, blocking all entrance and exit points. This has the effect of completely killing off the dealer's business, as no customers can get to them. The moment they see the guarded vigil, the addicts walk away.
Now you see that car turn around when you saw the bonfire here. Now the white one. Yeah, the white one. And all of that.
The bonfires are effective, but they also seem to me extremely dangerous. Here we are, outside a gangster's house, flagrantly stopping his business.
Are you concerned about, you know, maybe being a slightly easy target for anyone who wants to try, you know, to take a pot shot at you or something?
I mean, yeah, we all are the rest of the country. We don't know how the guys think, so...
Do you not feel that the state, the police, should really be doing what you're doing and you should be at home drinking beer and eating pizza?
We are the most, the police is to stand for. So if we're not going to stand up, who else is going to stand up?
The rest of the evening passes without incident, but throughout, I can't help but feel we are sitting tight.
You motherfuckers is lost. You understand? This is the goddamn truth. Gloves is off. You want to talk shit about blacks in America? Here's some fucking facts about blacks on America.
The CPS chairman Mervyn Jacobs. Suddenly, they heard gunshots.
Was it like some crazy nightmare?
Yeah, because it was just shooting one way. Bang, 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 bang.
You managed to get through this way behind the bin and then what did you do? You got in?
Close the door because we wanted to come in to kill everybody inside. Close this thing and got the street in here and he took a gun and shot right through here. Through the door. And then Sam came out, running out and I pulled it down to the ground while the guy was still firing.
And he was shooting randomly, or did he seem to be targeting anyone?
He was targeting. He first shot Mervyn, then he shot me, and then he shot Omar.
Mervyn Jacobs was a karate instructor, the owner of a pastry shop, and a leading member of his community. As chairman of his local CPF, he worked tirelessly to rid his neighbourhood of crime. Mervin's wife Sandra told me that when the gunman fled, she ran outside and held her husband's hand during his dying moments.
We didn't go take my husband's death already. About 2 hours after that, when the ambulance came, and then we found out my husband is dead. It was really nice.
Mervin's murder took place only a few weeks after the execution of another CPF member, just a few blocks away with an eerily similar MO.
We were sitting around the bonfire and within seconds we heard the gunshot. Only when I looked down to my feet did I see that I was covered in blood, my socks were soaked in blood, whatever.
Michelle was shot in her right leg, and although the doctor at first thought he would have to amputate it, she has made a full recovery. Her CPF colleague, Vincent Naidu, was not so lucky.
I saw him, he was in his wheelchair at the time. That's actually, I'd say, his downfall, that he got killed in a way that he couldn't move because of him being paralyzed.
5 years ago, Vincent broke his back at work and became confined to a wheelchair. Still, he didn't let that stop him from joining the CPF and becoming fully committed to the bonfire vigils. The night of the murder, his wife Cheryl was asleep only a few yards away when she heard the gunshots.
And my elder daughter comes in and said, "Mommy, you must go down." They shot Daddy. As I came there, he was just looking at me, and he said nothing. But sometimes I feel that if he didn't join the neighborhood to watch it anymore, that's probably alive.
2 men have been arrested and charged with the murder of Mervyn Jacobs. Vincent Naidu's murder, however, remains a mystery. But in both cases, people here have little doubt that the assassinations were masterminded by local gangs. Cheryl tells me that her daughter Courtney sees her father in her dreams every night. From this, she gains comfort.
Yeah, the people are dead, right there. And you can?
He must look nice after mommy and he loves it very much and he's very, very and he must always look after ourselves and I must finish school.
I find the stories of Mervyn Jacobs and Vincent Naidu incredible. They were ordinary citizens who chose to stand up to violent criminals to clean up their communities. For that, they and their families have paid the ultimate price. Suddenly, it hits me. The atmosphere may be jovial, but with every patrol and every bonfire vigil, CPF members are putting their lives at risk. Like shoot to kill, bonfires are a tough-on-crime strategy that has led to the death of innocent civilians. Despite this, the attacks appear to have only strengthened the resolve of its members.
Yes, our lives are being threatened, our lives are on the line, but we will never allow drug dealers or gangsters to intimidate us. We need to protect our community, but we must also be able to defend ourselves.
CPFs around the country don't usually carry firearms, but as a direct result of the murder of 2 of its members, Mitchell's Plain CPF is now allowed to patrol armed. It's like a street-level arms race, in which the CPF believe the directive shoot to kill applies to them as much as the police.
If it needs to be kill and shoot to kill a drug dealer or gangster, they must do it. We don't apologize for that because our members' lives are better.
The idea of shoot to kill is very popular here, and it's not difficult to understand why, considering the dangers these crime fighters face on nightly patrol. But as I'm about to discover, with an aggressive clampdown, a return to apartheid-style military ranks, and an unofficial hardline policy for the police, shoot to kill. In this final part, I'll see how giving police greater shooting powers appears to have already backfired. I begin by looking at the police in action in Mitchell's Plain Town Centre. Today, the police have been instructed by local authorities to evict all unlicensed traders. Most traders, however, don't want to move. You don't want to go.
I don't want to go to stay here. I traded all these years. I traded here.
As I see their stalls being dismantled, Michael tells me that the local government claims this move will help the fight against crime, as the police will now have a clear view of the area once the informal stalls have disappeared. The traders, however, are furious and deeply suspicious of the police's motives.
It's all about the drug dealing. They don't want us as the community to do something about it. Why not? They earn money, lovely money.
They're on the police payroll. You know, there's a lot that I saw already. And they give them money. You see, and then they let them stand there.
That's why you think they're doing this?
Yes.
The common opinion here, the consensus amongst the informal traders at least around here is that the police are up to something. They don't seem to trust the police. Many people keep saying that the police are in league with the local drug dealers.
I realise that many people are deeply disenchanted with the police, and I wonder why.
There's a fundamental problem with a lack of sufficient training of police officers. So if you go into a charge office sometimes and you have to make a statement to a police officer, it really seems that the police have a very basic knowledge of reading and writing. So there is a lack of education, of training, of skills at a very basic level. And this goes hand in hand with culture that is still traces of which comes from the apartheid era, of the police culture, of militarization, of strong arm tactics and so on, which have not disappeared.
Let's up.
Poorly trained, corrupt, and
Yeah.
prone to the use of extreme
I was on
violence.
the east side near Columbus, up in the Lebanon, right?
Determined characterization of the South African Police Service,
Near
but one that brings truth to many victims of police
that store up
brutality.
there on Columbus.
This is the context in which politicians
I
speak for
walked
future
in
policy. Last year alone, the police shot dead 568 suspects, more than any other year in the last decade. 32 of these were innocent bystanders. I'm in the Pretoria township of Mobopane, where one such bystander was killed. The name of the victim was Olga Kakana. Her cousin, Lucas Matlala, runs me through the sequence of events.
This is the road of Olga driving. Here, and it's like from the police office. And then what happened? What happened? Just experiencing the fight.
Olga Kakana was heading to a party with 3 other friends in a grey Toyota Conquest. They didn't know it at the time, but they were being followed by the police, who believed, mistakenly, that Olga and her friends were in a hijacked car. Without any warning, the police allegedly started firing. 2 of the passengers were badly injured. Olga was shot in the head and died instantly.
How old was she? She was 29 years.
Damages you? Some politicians have said that the police should have more power when it comes to using their weapons on the street in the fight against crime. And they say, and the police say, that if that's the case, innocent people will die as a result of this. What do you think about that?
The criminal, there should be a proper way to approach those kind of people. Not just shoot to kill. Innocent people might die, like Olga has been died and been shot by the police.
Olga's death came at the same time as numerous police shootings of innocent civilians. These included the killing of a 3-year-old boy who was gunned down after a police officer mistook a metal pipe he was holding for a gun, a street vendor shot dead by allegedly drunken officers, and a man who was polishing his shoes shot in the head by a trainee officer. These were not bystanders caught in shootouts between the police and criminals. They were ordinary citizens gunned down with little cause and no warning. These cases provoked a national outcry. Many have accused politicians who have hyped up shoot to kill as having blood on their hands. It's been put forward that statements made by yourself, rather than helping to alleviate the problem, have kind of exacerbated it. How do you respond to that?
At no stage did this Minister of Police encourage police to act recklessly and shoot innocent people at random without applying the law.
Some of the language that has been used in the past, such as, for instance, yes, shoot the bastards. I mean, that is particularly strong language, and it's language like that is going to invariably be jumped on by the media, no?
You can say that, but what do criminals do? They are not innocent, and they don't speak a holy language. They are very tougher than what we say.
The problem is there is no quick fix solution, and the politicians who claim that there is, by militarizing the police again, by having a shoot-to-kill policy, that is just empty rhetoric. The real problem is that there is this huge gap between rich and poor in South Africa. Probably a gap that is made worse because it's also...
All right, brothers and sisters, I'm going to make my closing comments and just let you see. Also, real quick, the clip that you heard, that was Brother Larry. Brother Larry, I was checking out his clip while I was filming the documentary, so that's why, everything a little, rushed. But anyway, I was going to try to find that part and edit it out, and as I was kind of listening to it, so I decided to leave it in there. So that was just, again, you're hearing it again. That was Brother Larry, and I felt that was fitting with you getting the mind that's exactly what's going on in Africa as well. It's all the talk that we feel with the greatness of Africa. Then we also need to look at certain parts of Africa as well, with all of the names that Brother Larry mentioned, like I said, it was Nigeria, Uganda, Rwanda, all of them, the Congos and all of that as well, with this documentary. So, again with that, again, I hope y'all learning a lot. I learned a lot from that, actually seeing that, you know what I mean? And it is a must. I think that we should go to Africa, and get a mindset and look at the people and see what's going on with our people over there. And, the ancestors of the people, because we are the descendants of our African ancestors, and there is a lot to still be accountable for. So, as it says, the title, is still a lot of work to be done. A lot of work needs to be done. We got a lot of work to do. All right? So with that, peace, brothers and sisters, with love. Again, all the power going out to the House of Conscious family, so I know all of them, the family down there, Thai City Studios, Roxanne and Lanu, and Brother Baba, I say peace and love, right, family. You gotta keep it's hard, just the words to say. I'm lost for words right now because, so much going through my mind with that documentary. So, like I said, brother, peace, and until next time, and until the next segment. All right.
You live with living and stuff, but it's something from back in the day. From the commissioner, grandmaster, and the period but it's like this pressure, get so hard. Oh, and I try and get far. But it's like a jungle sometimes. Oh, it's making me wonder. If I'm going like a jungle sometimes. Oh, yeah. Makes me wonder. Like a jungle sometimes.